Do you know what a priest is?
No.
A priest is like someone who is like over the people.
No, I do not.
A priest is somebody who shares information about God and sometimes about his plan.
No.
A good and successful king.
What does a priest do?
Tell other people about God.
Preach.
Sacrifices our sins.
To teach about God's plan.
A priest does preaches and prays.
Lead people to doing the right thing.
I said good morning. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now, this morning is a special morning because it is our family service morning, right? So you guys are actually, the adults are actually invited into the kids' church world, okay? So it's going to be a lot of interaction. It's going to be a lot of like, hey, are you paying attention? No, I'm not going to shout you out. I'm sorry. But I got a question for you. Did you bring your listening ears with you this morning?
Yes.
Oh, come on now. I said, did you bring your listening ears with you this morning?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. That's amazing. So over the last 3 weeks, our children have been learning about priests. As you can see in the video, they've learned some and they still got some questions, right? So for the benefit of those of us that have not been with them over the last 3 weeks, a priest was someone who was in charge of sacrifices and offerings at worship places. And they acted as a go-between for the people and God. You know what a go-between is, right? You know, you have, like if you wanted to go ahead and spend the night at your friend's house, you needed a go-between. You need somebody to be like, hey, listen, they like you better, so can you go ask. You can do it, just go ask. They like you better. You need a go-between because that person has favor with whoever it is that they're asking, right? The Old Testament priests like Aaron had to offer sacrifices for the sins of the people and their own sin. They weren't perfect priests. They were sinful, so they had to offer sacrifices not only for the people but for themselves. In the Old Testament, we see sacrifices involve animals dying. It's very sad. Peter would have been upset. For the forgiveness of sin. Since the priests and the people kept sinning, sacrifices needed to continue. We heard that this morning, right? Continually sacrificing over and over again. It's like it's never enough. There needed to be sacrifices for the priests and sacrifices for the people. There was no perfect, once-for-all sacrifice until the perfect one arrived. Now, in church, children's church, y'all know what the answer is always, right? Oh, man, see, y'all messed up. In kids' church, the right answer is always? Jesus. So who had to come up on the scene? Jesus. Jesus had to come up on the scene. Now, I have a very special guest for you this morning. This little boy just turned 9. He's a big boy now. Yeah. 9, going on like 16. That's all right. He's super smart. But he was willing to help me with the memory verse for the unit. So put your hands together for Giancarlo. All right. Oh, you want to hug me? Okay, all right. He's so sweet. All right.
We do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tempted in every way we are, yet without sin.
Where is it found?
Hebrews 4:15.
All right, very good. Thank you. Go ahead. I had to ask him first. I'm like, hey, do you know the memory verse? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, no, I need you to recite the memory verse for me, okay? He's like, so he recited. I was like, wow, man, this kid, he's so smart. He's so just like his mom. Listen, I've been married long enough to know. Listen, if it's good, it's her. If it's kind of, that's me. And y'all just need to go ahead and pray for them, all right? So now, the Bible story that we're gonna be getting into today, it's found in Hebrews chapter 7. Now, I'm not gonna go ahead and turn to the pages. That's for you. That's your homework. Read through the whole chapter 7 so that you guys, as adults, can go ahead and grasp all the richness that is in there. But we asked a question. We asked the kids a question. The question was, how is Jesus the perfect high priest? Let's see what they have to say.
He died on the cross when he was still dead. They put him in the tomb, and after 3 days, he rose again.
Jesus was the perfect priest because he was the perfect sacrifice for our sin, and he still speaks for God the Father for us today.
By sacrificing your sin and speaking to God our Father us today.
He was the perfect sacrifice, and today he speaks for God the Father today.
Jesus is the high priest because he speaks to God, him for us today.
He was tempted but never sinned.
Man, those are your kids. Put your hands together for your kids. So in Hebrews chapter 7, the writer of Hebrews, we see him writing to early church believers. Now, most of these believers were Jewish believers, so they were super familiar with this whole sacrificial system. So for us today, it's kind of lost on us because we don't go anywhere to sacrifice animals or anything like that for forgiveness of sin. That's why it's important to dig into chapter 7 when you get home so that you can go ahead and get a full grasp on this concept. But these believers, I have an interactive thing for you. So now, when I say Jesus, you say our perfect priest. Are you ready? Yeah. I don't think you're ready. I said, are you ready? Yes. Okay, now you're ready. Now you're ready. So when I say Jesus, you say our perfect priest. Let's try it again. Jesus, our perfect priest. Jesus, our perfect priest. All right, very good. You guys are so amazing. I love you. So they were being persecuted for following Jesus. Our perfect priest. You guys did good like at the beginning, and now it's like, I don't know. Don't worry, you have like 13 other times where you can go ahead and try to do better. Their lives had become difficult, and some of them became discouraged to the point where they may have been wondering if it was even worth it to keep following Jesus. And sometimes we get discouraged, right? Sometimes life gets hard when we choose to follow Jesus. They're doing good. Sometimes we say, man, you know what? Maybe this life is not for me. Maybe I should go back to doing what I used to do because life seemed a lot better. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell. Because even though when you come to Jesus, life doesn't necessarily get better, you don't have to go it alone. 1. And 2, you get the one who is all-knowing, all-powerful, almighty. Not just somebody, but almighty on your side. Right. Now, would you rather struggle alone? I said, would you rather struggle alone? No. Or would you rather have the hero, the almighty one, the one who absolutely lifts? Because I got asked a couple weeks ago if I lift, right? I remember. The almighty one, the one who is your advocate. I would rather go through hell and high water with Jesus than to go at it alone. She's got it. She's like, Jesus, our perfect priest. Jesus. Man, you could turn a merengue into anything into a merengue, right? Calm down. Not yet. Okay, not yet. So those reading this letter were familiar with the Israelite system of priests who led the people to worship God through sacrifices. They knew that Aaron the Levite and his descendants were priests. This is information that was not new to them. Since it was getting so difficult to follow Jesus, they may have been thinking maybe it'll be easier to go back to what we always done, what we know, what is familiar to us. But the writer of Hebrews wanted to encourage these believers to keep following Jesus because Jesus is better than any of those priests. I said he's better. Is he better? Yes, he is. See, you guys are doing so good. So proud of you. Jesus became like us in every way so he could become a merciful and faithful high priest for us. Because Jesus suffered and was tempted, he is able to help us when we are tempted. Jesus isn't just looking at you and saying, hey, get better. Come on. Obey me. He's like, man, I know the struggle. I know what the pull feels like. But obviously, Jesus was tempted in every way. Thank you. See, Sean is on. He's like, I like that. Thank you. I appreciate it. But he understands. He gets it. He understands the pull of sin. He was without sin, but he understands the pull. So he's like, listen, I'm here to help you. Stop struggling by yourself. You can't do it. Newsflash. I know. You're like, man, no, I can kind of do it. I can kind of be victorious if I just, no. The only reason that we can overcome is because of him, because he has overcome. So when we sit there and we're like, man, you know what? I think I've been a Christian long enough. I think I get a little word in me. We get puffed up and we get like, man, you know what? I think I can do it on my own. That is when you trip and you fall flat on your face. And then you realize, you know what? I can't do it. So save yourself some trouble. Just admit, I can't do it. I need Jesus. I need his help. The writer of Hebrews reminded them that the first priest mentioned in the Bible, Melchizedek. Now, boys, y'all better thank Jesus and thank your parents that they did not name you Melchizedek. Because, my goodness, could you imagine up in kindergarten, you sitting there like, M-E-L? And then be like, listen, I'm done. Just call me Mel. We good. Just call it a day, mail it in. I'm good with that. Melchizedek. The writer said in chapter 7 of Hebrews, we know Melchizedek was greater than Aaron, the first chief priest of Israel, because Abraham gave him 1/10 of his treasure. So if you remember, Abraham was coming back from fighting the 4 kings, and he's, fully loaded, blinged out. Like, he's got that treasure. Comes up to Melchizedek, and he gives him 1/10 of the treasure. Melchizedek, the king of Salem and priest of the God Most High, reminds us of Jesus because he... Ooh, almost. Yeah. Y'all better thank him because, he went ahead and slid it in there. See? Sean, where were you, bro? Okay. All right. I forgive you. But it seemed like he came out of nowhere. Didn't have, the lineage, so to speak, of being a priest. But he was a priest of the God Most High. This reminds us of Jesus, the Son of God. Thank you. See, that's my wife. See, that's my ride or die right there. And my daughter. See, you guys. Woo. Woo! Thank you. I appreciate that. Aaron and all the priests who came after him were men who died. Jesus is our priest who lives forever. Say forever. Forever is a long time. Forever is a long time. He lives forever. The priesthood of Aaron and the Levites who made sacrifice for the sins of the people was not enough to save them forever. You get that? It wasn't enough to save them forever. That's why it was like this whole continual thing over and over. You ever done things over and over again? Yeah. Yes. So one thing that annoys me is chores. How many of y'all love chores? We're in church. Stop lying, okay? Lying is a sin, FYI, newsflash. I don't know anyone who likes chores. You know what I like about chores? Absolutely nothing. I like when they're done. Better yet, I like when somebody else does them. Woo! I felt the Lord in that. But the problem with chores is that they're so weekly. You got to do it over and over and over again. You got to sweep the floor. You got to mop the floor. And if somebody walks on your nice, clean floors, may the Lord have mercy on their soul. You're anything like my mom. She quick with that chancleta. Okay. My wife, she cleans the floors, and the laminate floors. And so one thing that my children love to do is walk around barefoot. I can't stand that. Just FYI, I don't know what it is. It just. Sometimes he wears his slippers. It's all right. We're in front of people, Papi. You ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm just kidding. So when the floor is like just been clean, right? Man, you better wear your slippers. You better wear socks, because if she sees the footprints on there, trouble. It's a wrap. No, it is. It is for real. She'd be like, "What?" I'm sorry, man. She says, "What are you guys doing?" She said those words. So the problem is that just like with these chores, these sacrifices had to be every day, all the time, because the sin was continual. The law set up as priests men who were weak, limited by their sin and by death. However, their work pointed to a greater priest. Who's that priest? Jesus, our perfect priest. Ooh, very good. So Jesus fulfilled God's promise and became the perfect sacrifice. Thank you. See that? Extra points. Papi, I'm going to hook you up. Hook you up later. The perfect sacrifice. Now we have a perfect priest forever. Say forever. Jesus is able to save completely. Sorry, I was having a moment. He's able to save completely those who come to God through him, since he will never die again. He always lives to intercede for them. You have someone who will intercede for you. Intercede is an interesting word. So I looked it up, because that's what people like me do. It's who I am. The word intercede means to pray or act for the good of someone who is in the wrong. You ever been in the wrong? Good. She said no. I believe her. So I'm going to give you some examples of people that may have been in the wrong. And if the person has been in the wrong, man, this is very tough. If the person has been in the wrong, you yell, intercede. So if they're wrong, you yell, intercede. Intercede. All right, you ready? Very good. Hitting your brother. Definitely intercede. Unless your brother hit you first, and then you're just kidding. Listen. Look, I'm sorry. No. 2 wrongs don't make a right. See? Man, somebody teaching you well. Lying to your mom. That's right, because if not, the chancleta's coming. It's coming for you. That's right. Helping a friend with schoolwork. No, that one's good. Let's move on before you start messing it up. Running a red light for the adults. Intercede. I thought it was yellow. Okay. Green means go. Red means stop. Yellow means intercede. I knew we were going to have a bit of a disagreement here. I guess, it's an open-handed issue, I guess. I mean, maybe. Next one, doing the dishes. No, you doing the dishes. This is not a confusing one, okay? It's good, yes, thank you. It's good to do the dishes, okay? Anytime you want to come over and do the dishes at my house, please feel free. That is the Lord leading you. Come and do the dishes. I hate doing dishes. But listen, you know what? Do it with a good attitude because you're serving someone, right? You're serving. And you know what we live to do? We live to serve. Yeah. I have to remind myself. Stealing candy. Intercede. Don't be stealing candy is not good. Not good. Making fun of someone. Intercede. Even if you're good at it and other people are laughing, don't make fun of people. Hurts their feelings. Don't do that. Jesus is the priest that we need. Jesus is a priest that we need. Thank you. A lot of times. All the time. Forever. All these other priests fell short. There were even some evil priests. You're like, oh, you a priest? What you doing? They all fell short. But like Hector was saying, Jesus, our perfect priest. He didn't come with an animal in his hand. He was that sacrifice. He was the only perfect one that could do it. He was the only one that could say, you know what? I'm going to die in their place. Not because they deserve it. You know what we deserve. But because he loves us with this everlasting love. Any other place that we go to try to find redemption, to try to find forgiveness for our sin, will always fall short. That's what the system pointed to, of continual sacrifice over and over and over again by imperfect men, trying to go on our behalf to make it right. They couldn't do it. There was only one. Who was that one? Jesus. Very good. She's like, extra credit? Extra credit. God sent to us his son, our perfect priest, forever. this gospel project curriculum, as I'm going through it, it has this section. It's called the Christ Connection, and you don't have to repeat Jesus, our perfect priest, anymore. But because I'm getting ready to close, and so I need you guys to go ahead and have your listening ears on, and I need you to really home in and pay attention. Jesus is the perfect priest. He is the high priest who interceded on behalf of the people by laying down his life. So if you remember, to intercede, going back to my notes, is to pray or act for the good of someone who is in the wrong. When we sin, we are in the wrong. Not only are we born into sin, but we sin willfully. And because of that, we stand guilty before God, the Almighty, holy God. We stand guilty before him. That is the bad news. That is terrible news. Because just like these priests tried to do with the sacrifices, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So if you have not surrendered to Christ, you find yourself in the situation that you have no hope, that there is no good enough that you can do in order to earn God's forgiveness. There's nothing you can do. It's hopeless for you. You can try to do good. You could try to volunteer at the local shelter. You could try to give all the money that you earn away. There is nothing that you can do to make up for what you have done, for your situation. You know what you need? You need Jesus, our perfect priest. You need for him to intercede. You need for him to intervene in this situation. Because if not, then you got to pay the price. And we heard it earlier. The penalty for sin is death. That's terrible. I don't know about you, but I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Eternal separation from God. It's not a nice place. But God provided a way out in his Son, his holy Son, in Jesus Christ. Only through him can we experience forgiveness. Only through him can we experience salvation. Because of his perfect life, death, and resurrection, we can now have a restored relationship with our Heavenly Father. Not just that, we can have relationship with his body, our brothers and sisters in Christ. We can truly love one another because we have been loved by him. This morning, if you have not surrendered to Christ, what an opportunity. Don't waste your time trying to figure it out on your own. Don't waste your time trying to find another way. There is no other way. Spoiler alert. You might find yourself, man, no, I'm smart. I can handle it. Or I don't need, look at me, I'm blessed. You know, I got a great family. I got a great job. Have you seen my car? Have you seen my house? All that matters nothing. Zero. When you come before God at the end of your days. The only thing that matters, the only question that matters is, did you accept my Son? Does he stand interceding for you? I'll close our eyes, bow our heads. If you're here today and you say, man, that's me. I haven't trusted the Lord. I haven't surrendered my life to him. I haven't accepted him as a perfect sacrifice, as a high priest in my life. I'm gonna ask you to raise your hand right where you are, if that's you. My second question is, if maybe you trusted him in the past, but man, you've kind of fallen away a little bit. Maybe you're not as fervent as you used to be. Maybe you have your doubts. Maybe you're like, you know what? I don't know. He's here. And so are we.
Hey there, thank you so much for joining us this Sunday. I hope that your time with us was helpful. Hope that your time with us was edifying to you. And I just want to say thank you for all of your support. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the comments. If you are joining us for the first time online, would you please do us a favor and either email me at bishop@corefaithchurch.org. That is bishop@corefaithchurch.org. So I can thank you for being with us, get to know you a little bit better. Or if you have a prayer request, you can also email me there. Or if you're on Facebook, you can go ahead and you can leave us a message here directly in the comment section, or you can send us an instant message and we'll get that and respond to you as soon as we can. Lastly, I want to say thank you to all of you for your financial support. And if you would like to contribute to Core Faith financially, there's a simple way to do it. You can give electronically. All you have to do is text Core Faith, that is one word, Core Faith to 73256. That is Core Faith, one word, to 73256, and then follow the prompts, and you can be a financial supporter of the mission that God has given us. And if you are supporting us financially, I want to say thank you so much. I pray that God will bless you abundantly. God bless you. Hope to see you next week.